Good evening. Bonjourni, internationals, de femmes. Means Happy International Women's Day. This is Sabrina Henney live. Wanted to touch base with everyone around the world today. It's such an exciting day. If you're watching live right now, type in live where you guys are tuning in from. If you're playing the replay, please, in the comment section, please let me know where you guys are tuning in from. This morning, something magical kind of happened to me. I realized I was actually comparing myself to the other authors in my book. I was like, well, some of them were just like so professional and like articulate and all this doctors and all these degrees and I mean, I have in my paragraph and my chapter, I mean, I cuss. I say bad words in my chapter, and they didn't have bad words in theirs. And I'm like, I was kind of, I was cussing about the people that were in my life that just kind of made me mad. Hey, Ricky, how's it going? Good to see you on here. But I was like, oh boy, did I really write about the best thing that I could have wrote about in my chapter? Because sometimes, I'll be real here. Sometimes I don't know if I wrote about the best subject. I mean, I wrote about the most horrible day of my life. And sometimes to replay that in your mind when it's the worst day in your life, it's kind of like, do I want to go there? Do I want to go back there? And so, but you know what? I realized, yes, once again, I always go back to that pivotal moment. And it's like, oh yes, I'm so glad I wrote about this subject. Because someone needs encouragement in this section, because we tend to not talk about certain things. But I came across it kind of spoke to me today, chapter 10 in my book. And she got so real about everything. It was Kate Jones, and it was chapter 10. She's in my book, and the title of it is The First Time I Failed in My Life Was the Day I Was Born. I mean, I was just like, it gives me kind of chills, just the title. And I was like, and you know what? On the first page, she cusses. And I didn't feel like I was the oddball, that she had some major, what happened to her. And she got real about everything in her life. And I was like, well, good. I'm so glad, because I felt like I was alone in a sense. But I want to read this to you guys because it is International Women's Day, and it kind of fits into everything. But again, the title is called The First Time I Failed in My Life Was the Day I Was Born. It makes me tear up, just the title. But anyway, she says, I was born a girl, not a boy, and that was a huge disappointment to my father. As I grew up, I became more self-aware. It became apparent that every time my father looked at me, there was a cloud of disappointment hanging over him. And as children do, I tried to make myself into the person I thought he wanted me to be, believing that I would make him proud of me. So I grew up attempting to be someone else and trying to please others. It was hard. And it was every passing year I buried my true self underneath upon layer of pretending to be someone else until the point where I began to believe a lie and lost sight of the real me. So that's like really deep. And I read this and I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I mean, she got real. And then in the second to the last paragraph, she cusses in here. I hated the fact that no matter what I did, there was never enough. I eventually ended up in deep financial shit, stuck in an abusive relationship in the depths of despair. So it kind of like this whole page, and I don't know how I looked over this, and I was like, boy, she just, and I read it, and it's amazing. I mean, it really is an amazing chapter, and I don't want to ruin it for everyone so you can read it, but it is in my book, chapter 10. But it was making me think about Happy International Women's Day today, about in so many cultures where if they have a baby girl, it's like, oh boy, it's, you know, they want the boy to carry on the family name or whatever. So I just thought it was kind of an enlightened experience that maybe her chapter will really inspire someone today. But it really spoke to me because I felt like I wasn't the only one that kind of did that in the chapter. But I went back after I read her chapter 10, and I was like, you know what? Thank you, Kate Jones. Thank you, because you made me realize that my chapter was okay in what I talked about. And so I was thinking, why did I really want to write this chapter anyway? I mean, of course, I wanted to make an impact. I mean, of course. I mean, it wasn't about the money at all. I mean, but it was about writing a book with my favorite mentor in the whole wide world. And I mean, it still floors me sometimes because I thought for the longest time, how in the world did they pick me? And then I was like, did they make a mistake? Did they make a mistake? Maybe. But anyway, I hope you guys like my butterflies. It reminds me of the State Museum in Raleigh, North Carolina. And in the State Museum there, you can go into a room of butterflies, and they're like everywhere. It's like, it's such an amazing, magical experience. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to share today. But anyway, that was my message for today. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.